Okay, so are you ready to dive into the world of Twitch and like viral fame and this whole world of streaming?
Always down for a good deep dive, especially when it involves insane skills and like those make or break moments. Even if you're not into esports, this one's got some like universal truths about putting yourself out there, you know?
Totally. And the source material we're working with is this super interesting YouTube video essay. It breaks down what happened to the streamer, Myth. You ever hear of him?
Yeah, for sure. Didn't he like explode onto the scene back when Fortnite first blew up?
He did, but here's the thing. He was super dedicated to this other game, Paragon, before that. The video really emphasizes that, like sticking with it when other games might have gotten him more viewers back then. It wasn't the obvious path to success.
Right. Back then, streaming wasn't like this established career path. So for him to be grinding it out, streaming hours on end, juggling school, even a job, that shows serious commitment.
Yeah.
It's easy to look back and be like, oh yeah, Fortnite, lucky break. But that early grind, man, not everyone would have done that.
So true. And it's not like Fortnite was an instant hit either, right? The video called it like this goofy PUBG clone that a lot of people dismissed at first. So for him to see that potential when others didn't, that's kind of wild.
Exactly. It's that whole early adopter advantage, you know, seeing a wave before it breaks. It doesn't always pan out, but for Myth, man, it did. And in a huge way.
Okay, so Fortnite gets crazy popular, and Myth is right there riding that wave. The video points out these key moments early on. Like first, he's outplaying Summit 1G, who is already a big deal, not once, but twice. And he's doing it with this insane building skill that nobody else was really doing at the time.
And it's not just the skill, it's that it was brand new to viewers, had never seen anything like it. They had to figure out how he was doing that. So he goes from skilled player to like the Fortnite professor, putting out tutorials, pulling off these insane builds in-game. It was the perfect moment, you know?
Then he joins TSM, and bam, that 39 kill game happens. Suddenly, he's not just good, he's legendary. This is where it gets really interesting. Imagine you're this guy. You've gone from relative obscurity to having millions of eyes on your every move. Brands are knocking down your door. They even said he hit over 37,000 concurrent viewers at his peak. Crazy.
A level of fame most of us can't even comprehend, right? But, as we'll see, what goes up usually comes down, right?
Sadly, yeah. The video calls this part From Peep to Pitfalls. And that shift, it's definitely intentional. Like, we've got Myth at the top of his game, but I'm sensing things are about to get messy.
Oh, yeah. They highlight the Ninja tournament as a turning point. Not a total disaster for Myth, but definitely a public stumble. And we know how brutal the court of public opinion can be online, right?
Brutal is an understatement. The video even includes that clip of him falling off the map, which, okay, objectively hilarious, but it became this symbol, you know, like, look, even Myth messes up.
Exactly. And even his self-deprecating humor, which had always been part of his charm, it kind of got twisted. But here's where it gets really interesting. The video argues it wasn't just that Myth got worse at Fortnite. Like, there are deeper things at play.
Okay, so it's more nuanced than that. Because I'll admit, my first thought was, did he lose his edge? But the video seems to be saying it's not that simple.
Nope. Think about it. While he's off being a celebrity, Fortnite is changing too, right? Skill gaps closing, more competition pops up. The game itself is less new and shiny. What was once mind-blowing is becoming normal. Kind of makes you think about any career, actually.
Ooh, I like that. What got you this far won't necessarily get you further.
Exactly. The landscape shifted, and what it meant to be a top Fortnite player, that changed too. It wasn't enough anymore, just having the mechanics. And the video doesn't shy away from showing how that decline played out for Myth.
Yeah, you start seeing those "is Myth overrated" posts. Even the Tfue collaboration, which, smart move to stay relevant, but it also showed how the power dynamic had flipped. Tfue was the new kid on the block, and he was killing it.
Dominating. It's easy to judge in hindsight, right? We know the ending. But imagine being in the thick of it, landscape shifting under your feet.
So much pressure. Viewership declining, your skills being questioned. I feel like that's where a lot of creators would, like, spiral.
Absolutely. But what's interesting is how Myth responds. Instead of doubling down on Fortnite, he starts experimenting, trying to find his footing in a changing world.
So we left off with Myth kind of at a crossroads, right? Viewership dipping, Fortnite's popularity changing, and this need to break free from the whole Fortnite guy label. I don't know about you, but that just seems like a tough thing to shake.
Oh, absolutely. It's the classic dilemma, right? You find massive success with one thing. How do you branch out? Especially when that one thing, it's tied to your income, your whole identity.
And the video shows it wasn't exactly a graceful transition.
Not always, no.
They mention him trying out Rainbow Six Siege, Battlefield 5. Some games did okay, others not so much. It's almost like the audience, they were there for Fortnite myth. Anything else had to really grab them.
Which speaks to the double-edged sword of building a niche audience online, you know? You have a platform, sure, but it's got a very specific foundation. Change that foundation. You might lose folks along the way.
Like choosing between being a specialist or a generalist, right? Master one thing or dabble in many.
Exactly. You become known for that one thing. And breaking free, man, it's a struggle. Goes way beyond streaming, too. Think of authors, musicians, companies known for one product. Reinvention is rarely easy, but often necessary.
But here's where it gets interesting. The video mentions this thing I did not expect. Myth's vlogs start blowing up.
Right. Why?
Millions of views, easily. Showed there was an audience for Myth as a person, not just the gamer. Like there was something about him that resonated, regardless of what game was on screen.
That's huge. Proof that in this world of endless content, personality still matters. Remember how we talked about his early Fortnite days, that charisma? Turns out that translated off-game too.
Like he accidentally found this whole other lane. And then the big one, the YouTube deal. Video makes it clear. This was huge E. Even if his views took a dip at first, we even get those old Reddit comments, people either praising the bag-secured move or like, did he just ruin his career?
It was a gamble. Don't forget, this is 2022. YouTube gaming is trying to take on Twitch. They were throwing money at big names, and Myth, even with the decline, he was still a big name. They saw potential, even if some viewers didn't.
So short-term hit, maybe, but long-term. More creative freedom, less pressure to chase those Fortnite numbers.
Could be all of that. The video's honest. At the time, YouTube gaming, it just wasn't Twitch. You know, different audience, different vibe. But it gave him breathing room. A chance to experiment without the Twitch pressure cooker.
It's like going from center stage, spotlights blazing, to something a little more low-key. But you can stretch a bit more. Try new things. Find your footing. Plus, yeah, the bag was secured. That peace of mind in a world as unpredictable as streaming, got to count for something.
No doubt. Lets you prioritize differently. Maybe it is creative exploration. Maybe it's just having a life outside the screen. That pressure to chase numbers, it eases up when your livelihood ain't riding on it.
Which brings us to, well, where he's at now. We've gone from insane Fortnite skills to that dip, to him trying new things, ending up on YouTube, more freedom. But the video doesn't end on this triumphant he's back note. Does it?
It doesn't. And honestly, that's what I like most about it.
You do.
Forces you to think, what does success even look like for someone like Myth? This isn't a simple story of a guy losing his touch. It's deeper than that.
Because he does have those moments, even recently. That show he still got out to it. That boxing match. Who predicted that? And the video shows those viewer reactions. People were blown away.
Proves he can still command attention, even outside his comfort zone. And makes you think about the pressure on folks who find success young. It's always got to be upward, right?
Peak early, then what?
Exactly. When you've already done what most people dream of, where do you even go from there? How do you top that? It's its own kind of weight.
Can't peak forever, I guess. At some point, it's about sustaining, shifting focus, maybe even redefining what success is. Not just the numbers, but what fulfills you.
And that's what's so compelling. The video's upfront, Myth's viewership, it's lower now than at his peak. But it frames that within everything else. Bags secured, creative control, seems happier than ever. That's success too, even if some folks don't get it. It's so true. They see the numbers down, assume it's failure. What if it's intentional? What if he's just living his life nerver? Isn't that what we all want?
On some level, yeah. And in a world as intense as online content, that's powerful. Reminds you, it's not just about the algorithm. Sometimes stepping back out from the peak IS success.
Man, this whole thing's got me thinking. Like, the video focused on the metrics, right? Views, sponsors, all that. But it made me wonder, what does success really look like in this world? Is it purely the numbers?
That's the question I want you listening to ponder. No one right answer. Maybe it is the external validation. Maybe it's the community you build, the art you make, even using your platform to do good. It's personal. What matters to you? Find that and chase it. Yeah, maybe for Myth right now, success IS, just enjoying the ride, even if it's not the ride everyone expected. So what about you? What would your move be? What does success look like? Food for thought.